have begun this 2023 the way that we did, launching our YouTube. So, welcome. And if you're watching again, thank you for watching. And this is part dos, número dos, parte dos. We're bilingüe. But today, guys, I want to introduce you to someone that I'm very proud to be working with, someone that I met along a very, 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 very great journey, I should say, that this person has been around me for over 6, 7 years now.
Yeah.
And is someone that I want to keep around for the next 6, 7, and
Mm.
God only would know how much longer. Because once you get to meet her and get to know her, you'll understand why. So, with that being said, I want to introduce you guys to Marcela. So, Marcela,
Hey y'all, how is everyone? Whoever is on here, we got some good stuff happening tonight, or I should say right now in this moment. Chelsea is all the way in Texas right now, right? You're all the way. What are you? You're considered as south? Like
I'm
you're
learning that. So we're kind of like central, I guess, central, south,
central. There we go.
depending where,
Right.
because it's not south, it's not west.
Right. You're not like in the East Coast, West Coast. You're more in the
I'm not.
central. Okay. Well, she is in the central, we're
Other
gonna
side of the world, other side of the states.
say. And I am in the cold East Coast. It's
Oh, yeah.
cold. It's so cold. It's interesting how cold it is. But yes, everyone, tonight I want to share just a little bit about my story with you guys. For you guys who don't know me, my name is Marcela. I am the founder of Your Dreamwall, and I am also a mother. I am also soon to be a wife, a whole wife. So I'm a fiance for right now.
Okay.
I am a daughter. I just feel like I have so many roles that I play, but mainly just knowing how excited I am to just, like I said, share a little bit about my story. And I'll start off with saying I was born in Germany. My father was in the military. And then somehow, some way, we ended up traveling and we ended up here in New Jersey. I don't think I'm going to be here for too long because I don't like the cold. The cold is like just not my thing. So when you tell me certain things like, "Oh, I'm in Texas, and it's warm over here." Sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I wish." And so, I want to share that I have been able to connect with a lot of people in these last couple of weeks and months and years in my journey of just personally developing myself. First, it's personally developing myself. So I definitely was in a space where I needed to personally develop myself. And I'm so grateful that God put in my life a network marketing company. And this is where I actually met Chelsea.
Yes, we
And ever
did.
since that, I mean, it's just been like nothing but growth. And I graduated from college, and I ended up getting a position. And in that position, I ended up just reaching different heights of that position. And I thought like that was it. I thought like this was it. Like I'm here, like I'm good. Like my son is 5 minutes away from me. My house is 10 minutes away from me. Like I'm good. Everything's good. Until I went to a mentoring network marketing like seminar that they had, and it was just
Mhm.
so life changing. And I would definitely recommend network marketing to start off for your personal
I
development journey.
seriously do so as well.
No,
And it's true because we don't get taught that,
no,
as
no.
Hispanics, because I know you're Latino also.
Mhm.
I'm Hispanic, but that's another subject because yes, there's a difference. But we don't get taught that. So he's
No.
like, go to school, get good grades to get a good job. And here you're
Yeah,
thinking, hey, what?
yeah,
Graduated, close to school, close to my
yeah,
job,
yeah,
got it all figured out. And then
yeah,
it's like, no, you don't.
yeah.
Here's why.
And it was funny because my last year of graduating from college with my bachelor's in business, I actually started the network marketing company. And so the stuff that I was being taught from that, and then while graduating, it was just like literally just like day and night. And I was just like, man, I wish I would have started this earlier. Like, I wish I didn't
Mhm.
have to pay all this money for school, because network marketing, you're just enjoying the journey and you're just growing. And so growing while I was in school full time. I had my son. He was probably like a year old. And then I was also working full time. So I was actually going to school during the nighttime. So I'm like working from 9 to 5, and then from there driving like about 20 minutes to my school, and then from my school from 6 to 9. And like I just wouldn't see my son, and it was the most saddest thing in the world.
Wow.
And then finally I graduated, and I didn't even go into my field. I realized that I graduated with my bachelor's in business, and I didn't even start my business. Like, I didn't even start anything. I was just focused on the network marketing because it was just so intriguing for me in that season, and just full of growth. And I remember coming back to my job, and there was just so much tension. Sometimes there was a lot of just moments where I'm like, I don't think I belong here, like it was just so many things. And then I also remember, as you're in your journey of personally developing yourself and growing, I also believe that you start you start just creating a lot more. You start creating different intentions. You start creating different mindsets. You start developing just like cool stuff. Like it doesn't have to be one thing. You just start growing in different spaces. And I think ultimately that's what ended up happening. And I really started coming up with different ideas of like how to just be creative. And like I said, I was personally growing in a space where I was a single mother at the same time as well. So I'm like just going through so many journeys. And in that space of being single, I found myself where I was not really growing in a space of who Marcella is. So I was kind of allowing time to fly, and like all these ideas going and flowing, but there wasn't a lot of growth for me. And I understood that in order for me to grow, I have to put the work in. I have to tell myself who I am. I have to allow myself to, have that grace and have that mindset to say, you know what, like I am beautiful. Like I was dealing with a really toxic relationship at that time, and it was just very, very like a lot of negative thing. And it wasn't even my personal, some of it was my personal relationships, but it was also my work environment, right? So like where you work is where you be, like where you're at all the time. And so if it's a toxic environment where people are speaking about each other and just certain lingo and certain language, you get caught up. You just get caught up, and like that's who you end up like becoming in the next year or the following year. And so I remember one of my mentors telling me, I want you to look at your boss, your manager, whatever, your supervisor, and I want you to like, if you've been there for that long, how are they? Like, are they happy? Are they excited? Like, what is the next
Mm.
5, 10 years looking like for them? And then I just remember going back to my desk
Mm.
after having lunch and hearing that seminar, and I was like, and then I just kinda, like, start looking around, and I'm like, "Man, like, not happy, not satisfied, not healthy, maybe financially in a good space." But I truly, truly understand that if you're not passionate about something, you're just coming in for the paycheck, you're gonna get capped at a certain time, at a certain moment. It starts tapping into your personal life, right? So now you go home, now you're just still feeling miserable or just not enjoying life. And I
Right.
just started seeing so much patterns happening in the environment that I was in. And I realized I was there for almost 7 years, which is a really, really long time. And I was really scared. I was afraid. I was like, what if, like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And at the time, I did have other offers for other positions, and I was like, but I'm stepping into the same thing. Like, even if I change this building and I go into the next building, it's going to be almost the same thing. Right. And so I realized that I needed to just continue to grow to Marcella.
Mm.
Right. And so growing in that space, I started reading the Bible. I started getting like my spirituality just started leveling up. My mindset started leveling up. My confidence. Oh my God, the confidence is what really, really just got me to just build. And then with that confidence and with God's grace, I started creating these really, really cool design cards that would make me feel good. And so people would come over, and first started off with Post-its, literally like
Yeah.
Post-its all over my house. I know you remember that. And people would come over and they'd be like, "Girl, you good?" And I'm like, "I'm great. I am good." And that's really how I started building who Marcella was and the mindset. And I understood that in order for you to create a different lifestyle, you have to change your mind, right? In
Mhm.
order for you to create,
Mhm.
in order for you to create a different just level,
Right.
like your next level, it's just all in the mind. And so I was like, all right. And so from that moment, I then decided, you know what? I'm going to take this information in from just the pain that I was feeling, the the uncomfortable situations, whether if it was through work or whether if it was through a relationship, whatever it was that I was going through. And I was just pouring it into my craft, just pouring it. And I didn't really know what exactly I was doing. But remember, at the same time, I was also in network marketing. So I was also feeding myself with personal development, reading Les Brown books, reading Tony Robbins, reading John Maxwell, just feeding myself, writing, in my journals and my notebooks, growing with other people, right? And I'm like in my 20s at this time. And then finally, a situation occurred in my life where it was like an aha moment. And I was like, you know what? If I don't change my environment, nothing's going to change. And so from there, I decided, you know what? I'm going to take the leap of faith. I prayed so much, and I would not encourage anybody to do this. I barely had a business plan strategy, but I just had so much confidence in what the Lord provided in my heart and in my mind to come out and just start creating affirmational vision boards and just start spreading the word. And so, sure, like next thing you know, I end up quitting my job on a Friday, never looked back. And I started, promoting myself. And this was before COVID happened. So, like, there was a lot of stuff still going around, not really too much in the virtual world and stuff like that. And I just started just really hitting home with sales and how everything is about sales. You go to a job interview, you're trying to sell yourself. You go to the movies, you come home, you tell your cousins, your sister, oh my God, this movie was so great. And you just start selling it to people, right? And so from that moment, I realized like everything is about sales. And so, how can I, Marcella, just sell this valuable mindset and valuable art that I have that can help other people? And so I went ahead and I dropped my son off to school. And typically I would end up making a right to go to my job. But I no longer, I made that decision that I'm not going to do that. And so I made a left. And I remember going to 10 facilities. And out of those 10 facilities, 8 of them actually ended up calling me back and telling me, like, hey, we would love to learn more and we would love to possibly book you. And at that time, I didn't have my website up. I mean, there was just so much stuff missing, but I understood the mind, and I understood that if your heart and your mind is there with a good intention, it's game over. Like, you're going to make that sale, you're going to fulfill certain areas that you didn't even think you could do.
Right. Like
So
that
sure
blind
enough,
faith.
yep, and that's exactly it. And
Dive right in.
yep, I dived right in, not knowing what I was going to get myself into. And, fast forward, for anybody that's listening that doesn't really know so much of like where we are right now. I went through so much, Chelsea went through so much. We went through so much as women. We went through so much as mothers. We went through so much hurt, pain, whether if it's a man deceiving us, whether if it's, our friends, right? Like, just so much hurt and pain that has gone. But one thing that I learned is, what do you do with that pain, right? So
Mhm.
do you take that pain and do you make it worse, right? So like making it worse is like continuing to do bad habits and just being not the best person, or do you flip that switch and say, you know what? I'm going to create with that hurt. and the creating that I'm gonna create is gonna be something powerful because I believe that even though this person maybe hurt me in this form or this way, I'm going to be better, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't wanna see people hurt like this, so I'm gonna do the opposite, right? And so I feel like that's really what happened with me as well in my season that I was in, where I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna keep creating, and I'm just gonna keep empowering," and
Right.
nobody would have known that, like, I went through so much, behind the scenes because I kept building, I still kept creating, and it is, like, literally, like, turn that pain into something beautiful.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
And
yeah.
I'm sure that anybody that's listening, whether it's another mom, another woman, someone
Yeah,
who has a cousin, a sister, an aunt, anybody, even a man that's listening to this right
yeah,
now, right? You may be going through a season, and especially now after the holidays, that, a lot of people, just like you just mentioned, they can see that negatively or
yeah,
see that positively, like, hey, what did I just come out from in this
yeah,
season, in this
yeah,
time, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I think that it's very relatable, and it's how we respond to it. So just to
Mm,
hear
that's
you
good.
say that, it's like
Yeah,
hitting it right there,
yeah,
because we've all been there, and it's like, okay, what are we gonna do?
right.
Hurt people, or
Mm, good.
I'm hurt, but I'm gonna allow myself to feel that, but I
Yeah,
won't ever, ever
yeah,
be here again. Let me
yeah,
see what I can
good.
do with what I learn and what I do
Yeah.
being in that position. And I think that's beautiful.
Thank you. And also, like, to piggyback off of that, even like, when God gives you a vision, what do you do with it, right? So, like, even though
Mm,
David and Moses and like all these people, like he gave them a season of obstacles and issues, right?
right.
Problems, but like that wasn't the goal, right? Like the goal was like, hey, I need you to fulfill this mission and I need because I have a purpose for you because it's bigger than this problem, right? And I'm gonna, as you're preparing yourself to launch yourself to win the battle, there's gonna be these hurdles, but like no matter what, like I'm gonna be there with you and I'm going to make sure that you persevere, right? But I need your
Right.
help, meaning I need you to stay obedient, right? So there was so many times that people were like, hey, like it's Friday night, Saturday night, like come on, like pull up, whatever. And like that was like wild temptation, right? And I was just like,
Right.
no, like I need to stay home. I need to focus on this. And like I think that's also, to piggyback off of what you're saying, like you make a decision to say, well, you know what, I'm not going to stay there, but then also, taking that actionable step to being like, okay, I need to stay obedient to the purpose and to the calling. And I think that's where it's really hard for people because
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
the world that we live in, right? It's like so
Right.
easy to just get on your phone and be distracted and and God's like, "No, no, no, like I need you to come do this. Like I need you to come create." And and that's exactly what I kept doing and there was tears, while I was writing. There was, just there was just so much that was happening when I was creating all these things behind the scenes. And even this newest collection that we're super excited to even
Oh
bring to you, this new
man.
product that's about to be, just blown
Y'all don't
away.
even know. You think you
Um
know, but you
and
have no
and
idea.
that in itself was like a whole year project of like just speaking to God and just being like, "Oh my God, like what colors, how should this look?" And for anybody that's listening, like, we all go through our seasons of mess, but there's a
Yeah.
message behind it. And
Mhm.
just stay faithful to the calling, stay faithful to whatever he's trying to do for your life and
Mhm.
like just keep going.
Mhm. Mhm. No, thank you for sharing that, because I feel that in that vulnerability we find our
Yeah.
truth. Right? It's
Yeah.
it's so honest, and what we want our community, guys, if you're listening today for the first time
Yeah.
or later on replaying this, just know that that's what we want to create, right? We're
Yeah.
like, we've done all this creation
Yeah.
amongst all this
Yeah.
pain and this that happened,
Yeah.
and then now sharing it forward
Yeah.
and like just getting to know us behind the brand, who
Yeah.
we are, what's
Yeah.
the goal, what's the mission statement, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's something that's completely, to me, brand new. Because just like
Yeah.
we were saying earlier, it's like we were in a path where we could have said, and if you guys didn't listen to my story, you can hear it next week. But just like her story, it's like we were in a path where we were like, I'm I'm good. Like I'm
Yeah.
doing what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to. I met that goal, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna graduate college. I mean, I'm gonna graduate high school, and here I
Yeah.
am graduating at 17 years old.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna graduate college. I'm what like the first generation to do that,
Yeah.
right? In a
Yeah.
country where we don't even know the language,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and then it's like I'm good. I've been there, done that. And then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, then what's new? Because you could have been
Mm,
like,
that's
God,
good.
I'm good. You know,
Yeah.
I've been there,
Yeah.
done that, did it. You remained obedient, right, to
Right. Right.
that. But
Right.
then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Now, what if you're calling me? What you're calling me for is making me uncomfortable. It's a whole new,
Right.
scary, like
Journey.
scary journey. What
Yeah.
am I doing? Where do I start? Who do I talk to?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what would you say about that? If someone right now is in the
Yeah.
midst, like, let's just say, like, well, it's easy for you to say,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we make it seem easy though. But what would you say to that person that right now it's like, well, I made my resolutions, or you don't know what I've been through?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, yeah. So, I definitely tell this person, like, life is hard. And I know that's very cliche to say, and I don't know your story, but what I do know is that there is a calling over your life. There is a
Mm-hmm.
purpose. That dream, that desire that keeps pushing you, waking you up, making you feel uncomfortable. And you try to keep like running away from it, and like it just keeps popping up. It's because that there's a purpose there for you. And,
Okay.
if you don't if you keep running from it, eventually somebody else is gonna do it. But it was for you. It was first given to you, you know? And so I also think that's, responsibility, and I think that's taking ownership. And as leaders, as we continue to be, we have to be obedient, and we have to be mindful, and we have to be in preparation for what's to come, because I always love to say we're heading onto year 4, and I always love to say, what if my year 4 was my year 1, right? So everything that we've been able to accomplish in our upcoming year 4, um h- like, what would that even look like for year 1, right? Like, I don't think I would be able to even dare to think that my year 1 compared to my year 4, like, that's who I would be. Like, there's just no way. All these companies that are, exclusively, sending us emails, and, just certain things, I would not have even known, like, where to start if I was on, year 1. Like, I don't even know where I would have began to start, and everything takes time. Success does not happen overnight. Success happens within time. Success happens, as you keep learning and building. And for sure, I would definitely keep telling that person, like, don't stop until like you're satisfied, until you're content, until you're happy. I know that I've been on a run for the past, I don't even want to say, I can't even say, like, for these last 4 years I've been on a run. I feel like I've been on a run ever since I had my son, and my son is 11 years old. I feel like I've came so far, and that run is because he's my why, right? So, like, why do you
Mm,
do what you do, right? Like,
right.
that's definitely something huge for me. And every single day I'm waking up and I'm realizing, like, he's getting older, and he's getting wiser, and he's seeing everything. He's 11 years old, and I want to continue to be his superhero mom, right? Like, when he's older, I want him to remember these moments of, like, wow, like, I was at the mall with my mom, or I went here with my mom, and it's because of her business, and like, look at where my mom went, and by the way, she was single at the time, and now we're in this beautiful space, and like I just want to be able to create a lifestyle for him that is going to be memorable to impact, so that he knows like my mom did it, I could do it. So um I'm just excited for where we're heading and where we're going. And for anybody out there that is, just listening and just wanting to tune in, we are giving you snippets of who we are. My name is Marcela. This is Chelsea. And we cannot wait to meet you guys and greet you guys. And right now it's 2023, January 23rd, and we are getting started. It's been 23 days in the new year. And our main question that we want to ask our audience is, what is your, we haven't finished January yet. So where are we in our January 2023 mindset and vision boarding, right? So like I'm so excited to say that we've crazily and blessing we've been hitting some wild goals. But yeah, Chelsea, we're gonna wrap up, and if there's anything you can say for our next, don't give them everything we're gonna talk about for next week, but or for this upcoming week, but what can we tell our audience to check out for this week?
Yes, yes, yes. So, first things first, welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving this time
Yes,
to yourself and to us. And I would say subscribe, hit the little bell, make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Facebook so that
yeah,
you also know and become part of our community. Let us
yeah,
know, hey, we watched you, right? And that way you know when we're doing our live events, whether we're doing our virtual events, and perhaps you can join us and let us share your story with us, and let us come into your life, right? We welcome that. And with that being said, January, a month to remember, first quarter, this, that, and the
yes,
third, right? We're
yes,
coming
yes,
in, we're gonna be bringing you guys these lives. So definitely do encourage to hit those notifications so that you know when we're coming live. This week we're going to be live on Thursday.
yeah,
We're going to be talking about more about what is the vision board, right? Where's
right,
that mindset? Where
yeah,
do where are we? How can I start? Is it too late? That like people are like, do we still say happy new year? Yes, you
right,
can. If you haven't seen that person in all these weeks, I mean, hey, there's a big debate. But we're still in January, and if we can help you hit some type of direction to
yeah.
where you can go and be, we welcome you to join us. We're super excited. I know you've heard us say that multiple times, but we are. And we want to just bring these raw talks so you get to know the faces behind the brand. So, with that being said, thank you for your time. Thank you for staying on, and thank you for watching.
Yes. Bye guys. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Okay. Okay. So